Hey everyone, today we're going to be checking out the Nextorch TA30D, and this is a Red Dot award-winning flashlight and the upgraded model of their previous TA30C, which I've reviewed in another video. And the TA30D has an increased output of 2,200 lumens, it's got a 410 meter range, and features Nextorch's new PCM Ultra Thermal Buffer. It's a technology that they claim provides better heat dissipation, sustained high output compared to other flashlights. And yeah, research PCM technology, which is quite fascinating. I'll talk a bit more about it later. And this feels like a real duty / tactical light. It's ready when you need it. It's got some serious output and candela. Really like that they've upgraded both of those specifications and you can access the highest mode in a moment's notice. So just a quick demo. Basically, if you half press on this tack mode, okay, you've got a high 2,200 lumens, full press for the strobe. You can also lock the flashlights there or unscrew the tail cap a little, and you can access some lower modes in there as well with that rotary switch. So it's pretty simple to use. And yeah, I didn't even need to look at the instruction manual. So in terms of what you get in the box, it's everything that you see here, and some of it was already attached. So you have this pocket clip, sturdy high tensile steel, and you have this finger grip as well. Just allows you to hold the light easily in your hand. It's not going to slip out. Feels very nice and comfortable, confident in your hand. And you do get one of these as well. So the light accepts CR123 cells, so you can pop that in there so that it just fills in that space. I believe you can still get it to work without, but yeah, it might not contact as well. You've got a USB-C charging cable, also a lanyard, and instruction manual here. And this is the box here. So if you want to pause the video and have a bit of a read, it's all here. Some of the specifications as well. It doesn't tell you what LED is in there. Got the candela measurements here as well, and 10-year warranty. Okay, so here are a few other flashlights in my collection that I'm just putting next to the Nextorch TA30D, and probably the closest comparison is the previous model, the TA30C. And if you look up close, you pretty much can't tell the difference. They're almost identical. There are some different markings here on the tail. And one thing I've noticed as well is that there is this additional lock mode on the TA30D, whereas on the TA30C, it doesn't have that lock mode, but it does include this sustained strobe mode on there. And if you look down the head as well, you can see the upgraded LED round die surface, whereas you've got this older model here. I think that's the SST40. So huge upgrade in terms of overall output and candela. And I've got a few other flashlights here as well. I've got the Nextorch TA70. So this is a flat style flashlight. You have them side by side there. I think it produces a similar amount of lumens. You can see it's a little bit thinner, but similar kind of length. Got the Phoenix TK30 here, and Phoenix and Nextorch have just incredible build quality, and Phoenix has more of this shiny finish, whereas Nextorch is a bit more matte black, and if you ask me, has a little more grip to it. Convoy S8, so yeah, as you can see, it's really not that much larger than a Convoy S8, especially if you take off this tactical ring, finger ring. And yeah, of course, next to my Phoenix TK28R, which looks gigantic compared to it, probably like two of them together. Okay, so here's a little close-up of the Nextorch TA30D, and fantastic build quality and great attention to detail as usual with Nextorch. And the body is built from aerospace grade aluminium. It's got a hard anodized finish, feels thick, durable, high quality, and the finger grip keeps the light firmly in your hand. And I believe it's made out of polyamide, so it's quite a durable kind of material. And the battery tube does have some knurling here on the side as well. And yeah, it's got a kind of military tactical feel to the light, and it makes sense because this is actually used by various law enforcement and first responder agencies in Europe. So I know Switzerland, Also, I believe Austria and Germany, of course. They use these flashlights, and yeah, it feels like a professional tool. It's IPX8, submersible to 3 meters, also 3-meter drop resistant as well. Plus, you get that limited lifetime warranty with the flashlight. So basically, the switch here on the back, you've got this rotary switch. So you turn this to access the different modes. You've got tack, lock. I feel there's other modes. It feels really quite satisfying to turn, and you have to apply a bit of pressure to go between the modes as well, so it's not something that's going to just easily switch over in your pocket when you're storing it, that kind of thing. You've got this battery indicator and switch here on the back, so you can see it just glows, basically glows a different color depending on the state of the battery. Okay, but basically it's a two-stage switch, metal, so half press if it's not on lock, half press for tack, full press for the strobe mode. So yeah, it feels really durable and robust. So I'll just open up the tail cap to show you the clip. So basically it sits underneath the tail cap there. So when you screw in the tail, even with the finger grip there, it actually provides a physical barrier so that it can't remove that. And I really like this design because it makes it almost impossible to accidentally detach during use. The TA30D does not have onboard charging, so yeah, basically the battery itself has a charging port. And this is another thing to mention as well. They've upgraded the battery capacity. So initially in the TA30C, I believe it was 2,400 milliamp hours. So this is pretty high capacity, 18650 cell. There's a charging port. There's little battery indicator lights, charging lights. All right, so here's a little close-up of the LED. Okay, and I believe this is an SFT42R. And I do have an SFT25R LED here. It's kind of difficult to see actually to get in underneath it. But basically the die surface is significantly smaller on the SFT25R. So I think this is SFT42R or some kind of variant. What do you guys think? And produces 2,200 lumens. I like how it's paired with that smooth reflector. Nextorch have not really been using smooth reflectors in most of their flashlights. They use an orange peel reflector, so this really produces some significant range and lots of flood as well. There's a bit of glass here on the front as well that protects the enclosure, and you've got this titanium bezel with 3 ceramic glass breaking beads. So back to this UTB technology, you can see it lays it into the side of the flashlight, and that's the tech that Nextorch are using. I did a bit of research and because I was kind of curious about it, and basically this involves an internal buffer. So it uses something called a PCM, a phase change material. So yeah, how it works is that the PCM absorbs heat without rising much in temperature, and it basically sits right next to the heat source, so near to the LED, and heat is absorbed by the PCM and used to change the state of the material from solid to liquid. So once it becomes a liquid, then it behaves like a normal thermal mass and the flashlight starts heating up as normal. So basically think of an ice block being melted, and in this case I think they may be using some kind of custom engineered paraffin PCM blend. So yeah, something inside a sealed copper or aluminium chamber perhaps, and that just sits on the heatsink or near the heatsink. And yeah, as a result, this light can output that 2200 lumens for longer before stepping down. I mean, considering how small this flashlight is, it's quite impressive. I'll go through the actual tests later. And yeah, then I guess they just combine that with efficient electronics, and that lowers the output when the temperature gets too high. So yeah, glad to see it's not just some kind of gimmick and there's some actual proper tech going on in there. Okay, so a little rundown of the UI. At the moment, I've got the rotary switch in the tack mode, so half press for high, full press for the strobe mode. In the lock mode, nothing happens, but it does activate that battery indicator, and you can just switch it from mode 1, low, medium, and high, sustained high. And that's pretty much it. Now, when you're in any of these other modes, the cool thing is, say, if you're in the low mode, you can half press to get into high, and then full press for that strobe. So you're not going to be stuck when you're using it on those lower modes and having to fiddle around and find that high mode again. But if you have it on that lock mode, nothing happens. But thankfully, it's kind of in the middle of all the other modes. So if you just flick it into like the as far as it can go on either side, you're going to get into the highest mode anyhow. So here are some ceiling bounce tests that I ran with the Nextorch TA30D, and this is the high mode. You can see you get close to 2 minutes of runtime on that 2200 lumen mode, which I think is pretty impressive for a light of this size. And you can see there is a sort of staircase step down, and by the 9 to 10 minute mark, you can see the light is just under 40% output. I ran a second ceiling bounce test here on medium, 350 lumens, and I didn't see any reduction in output. And I also ran some tests with my Audible Lightmaster Pro, and you can see here 431 meters of range on high. Pretty incredible for a flashlight of this size. And even on the medium mode, 163 meters of range. So in terms of considerations, I found it very difficult to fault this one. The beam profile is the perfect blend of flood and throw. You've got that sustained output on 2200 lumens as well, so that's quite impressive. But you do have to remember that this is a compact tactical flashlight. So if you do want something with 3000 plus lumens and 600-700 meters of range, you're just going to have to get a larger tactile light with a larger reflector and bezel. But yeah, in terms of efficiency and performance to size ratio, this thing is absolutely incredible. The second consideration is that there's no onboard charging. I do like the design from Phoenix that they have, the unscrewable area underneath the head that you can fit in a charging port. But yeah, it does have excellent IP rating. The third consideration is that you're going to be paying more for this type of flashlight compared to a budget tactical flashlight, but of course you get superior construction quality and overall performance. The final consideration is this titanium bezel, so it's crenulated titanium bezel. So yeah, this thing is going to, especially with the glass breaking bead, is going to draw attention. And if you're carrying it openly in casual settings, that kind of thing, you're probably not going to get past security checkpoints onto planes. So yeah, do keep that in mind. So yeah, overall I think Nextorch have created another winner here with their TA30D, and it's not a surprise that they've won an award for this flashlight. And with that thermal buffer that they've used in there, I really don't know of any other flashlight brand that has incorporated something like that. I think it's a huge increase in performance, improvement in performance compared to their TA30C. So I really can't think of a reason to get their previous model unless you can get it for a cheaper price. Significantly cheaper price. And yeah, like I said, I really like the high output, that perfect blend of flood and throw, and the one-step access to turbo and strobe. So I think it's the perfect tactical flashlight for duty. If you're working in security patrols, even just putting it in your glove box as well, be a great light for an emergency kit. And yeah, just anyone who wants an over-engineered, dependable tool rather than a run-of-the-mill flashlight. But what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments, and if you have questions as well, I'll get back to you. If you enjoyed the video, do me a favor, click the like button and share it with someone who might be interested. Just helps to get my channel out to more people. And if you want to see more flashlight reviews and keep up to date with the latest flashlight news, make sure you subscribe. Nextorch TA30D, and this is on the high mode on this long bike path here, and you can see this building to the right. I'm able to illuminate inside that building pretty easily with this light, just high candela. And what an amazing beam. Very useful. Kind of reminds me a bit of the SFT70. Nice large round hotspot and a ton of spill. Now there's a few other modes in this light as well. So you've got a low mode here and a medium mode. Okay, it's actually more spill than this. I just had to ramp the ISO down on the camera because it's just blowing out. And that's your high. And to the left here, I have the Nextorch TA30C. Okay, so that's the TA30C, which is, as you can see, not as throwy, but it has a larger, does it have a larger hotspot? Yeah, it does have a larger hotspot, and it blends more into the spill. Okay, but technically the TA30D is producing a little bit more light, so 2200 lumens versus 1600 lumens. Okay, a lot of that seems to be focused in the main center of the beam. Really like that Nextorch have put a smooth effector in here to increase the range of this light, just maximize the effectiveness of this SFT42R. Okay, there you go, TA30, TA30D, TA30C, TA30D. If you ask me, I'd definitely get the TA30D only because I prefer that high candela, but you really have the best of both worlds, whereas the TA30C, you've got overall just a very nice balanced beam. Okay, but if you do need that bit of extra range to see what's going on in the distance, the TA30D has that, plus the same spill pattern. So you're really getting the best of both worlds. We'll just have a little walk again.
Hey mate.
Hey, how you doing? Nextorch TA30D, and there it is. Gigantic round hotspot. I'm pretty sure this is the SFT70, SFT42R. Perfectly round die, and a little bit larger than the SFT25. Either that or it's some other in-house job, but look at that, you can see all the way down the end of this golf course. Now I've got the Nextorch TA30C here to the left. I'm going to pop this on so you can see both of them. It's a very windy night as well tonight, so bear with me if it's a little bit noisy, but yeah, that's the TA30C to the left, and this is the TA30D to the right. So in terms of overall light output, the TA30D is actually brighter, so it's producing 2200 lumens instead of 1600 lumens with the TA30C. Okay, but you don't get as much throw. As you can see there, you get a decent amount of range with this. And I've always wanted Nextorch to put a smooth reflector in some of their flashlights, so I'm quite glad that they have finally done that. And what I'll do, I'll go for a little walk and just show you the beam profile. And there are a few lower modes, a couple other lower modes. So that's the high mode, which is also it's basically the highest mode. If you put on the momentary, press the momentary switch for tack mode, it's the same, 2200 lumens. There's this strobe mode here, but you've got this one here, which is like a low, and you've got a medium. Now the low is good enough as a walking light, I'd say. It produces enough spill. I've had to ramp down the ISO on my camera, but that's the medium. Still pretty decent. And here we have the high. There's a little bit of these funny nooks in the corner of the beam, just due to the bezel, the crenulation, but it's not a big deal to me. You can barely notice it.